And welcome back to No Cover presents the Red Light District Show. How are you? Thank you guys for tuning back in. We are having some live streaming buffering issues. Hopefully that's going to be resolved by the next time you see us. But for those that are watching at home, this will also be available as on Sunday. Hopefully even Saturday. Just depends. And it'll be available without interruptions, without anything. So bear with us. Thank you. And I want to welcome my favorite guest that I've ever had in this studio.
Wow.
And we've had some doozies in here. We've had some amazing people. But Patti, you are my favorite.
Wow, I have a lot to live up to. Great, thanks. Well, thank you. I am honored. You guys are great. Happy to be back.
Well, welcome. Let's welcome her. All
right. Thank you. Happy Friday the 13th.
Happy Friday the 13th, yeah.
I remember you brought up Friday the 13th in our last interview. And you said that there's power behind certain things. Power behind black cats. Power behind Friday the 13th. Power behind the number 6. Power behind the number 7. What is the power behind 13?
Well, the power behind 13 is that so many people think it's a bad luck number. Like 13, Friday the 13th. There's no 13th floor in hotels and all this silly stuff. We've given it power. And what the secret sort of is anything that people say is bad luck is probably just powerful. And then people, to control people, they don't want you to have power, so they say it's bad. Like black cats, 13, horseshoes upside down, breaking a mirror. Stuff like that. So 13 itself is, it goes back to biblical, to 13 people at the Last Supper, the Knights of Templar, 13, everybody gets killed. So it's got a lot of bad connotations, but it's also got beautiful. A perfect seance is 13. A perfect coven is 13. Lots of magical things to it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I literally went through our interview and I've gotten so many more questions based off of the last conversation that we had.
Okay.
The first one is, you had mentioned in your interview that your first seance was between the ages of 7 and 8 years old. And I, for some reason, just let that zip over my head. What exactly are you doing specifically? I want to know what table you're using, what kind of any kind of things that are on the table. Like, what are you using, and how are you doing that as a 7-year-old?
Well, I didn't have Stefan and all his fancy equipment at the time. Two little kids going. No, I was just because I was really so obsessed with the dead. Not in a dark or morbid way, but I talked to him all the time, and I don't even know if I really knew what a seance was, and I'm just like, I have to do whatever I thought was a seance. So I didn't have any equipment. I didn't have a table. I went in my hallway, in my little suburban Long Beach house. I went in the hallway where there was no windows and lights, as hallways don't. I stuffed towels under the door so there could be absolutely black. And then I really realized I didn't know any dead people. I'm like, well, who do I know at 7? Marilyn Monroe. And I just started naming all the people I knew that were dead. And I think I came up with my first chant or sound or something like that. I was with my best friend, Sherry Jones, from birth. We grew up next door to each other. And all of a sudden, my little windowless, lightless hallway filled with orbs and lights and shadows and all this stuff. And as we jump up and go screaming out, I was really jumping up and down going, this is real and this is controllable. We can lift it and shut it. And then I spent my whole life learning what that meant and figuring it out.
Is that you and Sherry Jones?
No, Sherry Jones gave up on it years ago. Okay. I think that day. I don't,
Is that first one? Is that with Sherry?
That first one was with Sherry Jones.
And were you guys able to talk to somebody? And if you were, are you like immediately like, oh shit, we gotta go?
No, I think we even left before we talked. It was like a discotheque light show. In, again, a room with no lights, with no windows. It became wild. She honestly never did anything like that with me again. I scare people away sometimes, a few people here and there. But again, to me, it was just like, wow, this is pretty cool.
And,
that's it.
And it definitely was. So you, like when you're younger, you know, this is why I told my son, I was like, when you're younger, you have special abilities. And somehow throughout your journey through life, you either forget, you don't have those same abilities that you once did, and you sort of just develop without that sense inside.
What I think it is it almost, I do think kids have that gift because I talk very much left brain, right brain. Your left reasoning, rational, logical brain. It gets us through life. It has nothing to do with talking to spirits or the dead or your spirituality or your artistry or your music. I mean, you have to dance with music. But our modern Western society gets rid of the mystical of everything. We are totally not mystical. Even our religion, it's everything has to be like logic based, and we took art out of schools. That helps your psychic side. And they just get it, oh, that's your imaginary friend. Not necessarily. So they just lost the mystery, they lost the mystique. So, it got mundane and got really boring, and we got a lot more boring. And now when things are crazy, like with pandemics and worldwide, and people are in fear and don't know what's going on, they're looking for answers outside. So a lot of people are rediscovering, sometimes maybe they're born with belief system isn't keeping up with them, or their religion isn't keeping up with what's going on in the world or with science. So they're looking for outside spirituality. And those who don't want outside spirituality, they're just becoming paranormal investigators. I mean, some of us have, you have both, a lot of people have. But it's so interesting to me, people who go, I want mysticism, I want the mystery, I want the romance of, there's something more than this. There's something more than, just that black and white world. So, but if they don't want, magic or mystery, they discover paranormal investigation, which is great because they still have, oh, there's something beyond this little mundane gravity filled world. A lot of them then will discover, like, what is going on here? What are these spirits I'm seeing? And then they do start looking into spirituality or metaphysics or occult sciences or religion in many forms.
So when you're there and you're 8 years old with Sherry Jones and you're seeing these orbs and lights and it's like a fire show and you guys are getting freaked out.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is because of how close you are or how special you are as obviously there's something special about you that you can really lift the veil and that was just your raw energy? That's sending this into whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I do think we're all born with it, and I do think you can develop it, but of differing degrees. Like, everybody can take piano lessons, not everybody can become a concert pianist. I took piano lessons, I can, go music, but you will never put me on stage with a piano. We can develop it, but I do think I think I got it from both sides of my family. My mom, luckily, again, didn't get taught about it. Oh, yeah, Grandma could do that. She was talking to, oh, yeah, Grandma could do that. So it was not a weird thing, or it wasn't like, oh, gosh, she's of the devil or anything bad. And where my dad came from Turkey, I think I've got all these Middle Eastern mystical thing from his side and this like kind of Celtic, Irish, English thing from my mom's side. And then I'm all mixed up. I got it all, and nobody taught it out of me.
Were you ever able to speak with your grandmother about her abilities?
Never, because she was gone before I was there, and again, that kind of just left them all. No one ever talked about it or anything. We were raised without any kind of belief system or any kind of spirituality, which made me a blank slate, which was really good. Not like, ooh, you're evil or that's the devil or anything like that. But my grandfather was this very famous psychoanalyst, very Freudian, very academic, studied religion, but from an atheist, nothing is real perspective. So we never had the word God or spirit. It was like I thought it had to be a dirty word. But this gift I have, and I see energy, I would drive by a church or a temple or a mosque or a synagogue or a park, and I'd see the energy. I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go there. But I was afraid to ask because these weird religion thing, we didn't do that. So I think
So it's like walking by. It's like driving by Magic Mountain.
Yes, you go.
And you're like, oh, I want to go on those roller coasters.
Yeah, I want to go on those roller coasters. But we just didn't do that. I didn't really know why. And I think I was 13 before I got brave enough.
13,
I wanted.
yeah.
13. Right. I didn't even think of
Was
that.
it a Friday?
Probably.
Let's just say, for the sake of the story, let's say it was a Friday.
Oh my God, that's hysterical! Thank you for that. No, and this was a long time ago. In the big Jesus people, and there was, the kind of the hippie rock and roll surfer Jesus people, evangelicals. And there was some really cute Christian rock band that was playing at a church. And I just wanted to go see the boys in the Christian rock band. So I got really brave to go ask my mom if I could go to church. I mean, I honestly would have felt more comfortable. Can I go to orgy? Can I go to a rave? Can I go to but can I go to church? And when my mom just go, yeah, you could do whatever you want. I could do whatever I want. I became a seeker. I started going to church. I went to that church. That didn't work for me. Okay, I'm going to try. Okay, I'm a Jewish priest. Okay, that didn't work for me. Buddhism. That didn't work for me. And then I get to Eastern Zen. I'm not Zen. And then I kind of discovered that the whole New Agey thing. I'm going way back to the 80s. And the whole Shirley MacLaine and Out on a Limb and New Age. And I'm like, ooh, this is fun. A little pink chiffon for me, but this is fun. And getting into past lives and all that. And then I found a whole bunch of group of witches, and I don't know if it was Long Beach Women Spirit, and like, ooh, they're all earthy and they're all real. They have all this magic. They're positive and great. And I'm like, okay, I found my path. But even since then, all these years, my path goes left and right and left and right. And you create your own by your own truths, which I think when people start actually thinking for themselves, that's when you find your truth.
Do you think when people get older, they find their path better, or they find a more stable path towards what they actually want to do?
I think so, because maybe all of a sudden you stop worrying quite so much what everybody else thinks. Maybe, just maybe, you get a little wisdom along the way. You get that life experience. When you're a little kid, or even when you're young, or especially you're going through your 20s and stuff, it's like, how do you fit in? And you reach a certain age, like, I don't want to fit in. Hell no.
Because I heard there was a saying that I heard once before, that when you're young, you learn. When you're older, you understand. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow, philosophy from Phil. That is nice, dude.
Was that
Confucius?
I got
was that
goosebumps.
Confucius, Phil?
This is Confucius.
Wow.
Goosebumps.
He's got some ratings going on now.
Yeah.
Where did you feel the most at home? At what stop upon your journey? And even maybe it just wasn't for you, but you felt the most comfortable spiritually, soully, like inside of your heart.
Right now.
Right now.
Right
and
now.
what is this stage that you're in at this moment?
I'm in the stage. I feel like an 8-year-old on the outside. Like, things even more keep opening up. Opportunities, manifestations, really crazy opportunities. Let's go to Romania. Okay. Yeah. Let's go here. Let's go there. And again, that getting older thing, when I don't have to fit in. I don't have to try to be young. I don't have to try to be this. I get to just be me. Wait, who is me? Oh, I get to discover me. So, yeah, I mean, every day is every day. But I must say, since this whole lockdown, I honestly think that was a big old slap on the face by whoever, whatever, going, you guys are asleep. You guys are zombies. You are numb. You are unaware. Go to your room until you figure out what's important. Literally, we had to go to our room. We had to get locked in our house. Some people just kind of went, I'm just going to watch TV. But a lot of other people are going, wow, what is important in life?
Do you feel... I hate to even bring this up.
Don't hate anything.
There's so many people that are saying great awakening. I'm using quotes.
Yeah.
And everyone, great awakening. It's happening. It's happening right now. Is there something happening that cannot be seen that it could be described by some people as a great awakening?
What I think it is literally we are going into that age of Aquarius. Maybe it's a great, and I use quotes a lot, or being woke. But you do kind of want to be woke up. You don't want to be asleep at the wheel. You don't want to just go to work, go to hit. Then that kind of happened in a large scale. I mean, obviously not everybody. You guys are creatives, but it just kind of happened planetary. What we are doing is we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is different. We were in a very earth-based, black and white, our parents, grandparents world of right and wrong, black and white, solid ground. We don't have any of that anymore. Things aren't black and white. There is no solid ground.
At all.
Aquarius is like this. It's air. It's what? So the veil is thinning. So more and more...
Is it easier for you to see?
It's easier for me to see, but it's easier for everybody to see. All of a sudden, more and more unexplainable to what we used to think is happening. More paranormal activity, right, Stefan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy more activity. And people, again, that's why they go, what is this? So that they're looking into it. It's very cool.
Do you know Jeff Janae?
Yes. He's our camera guy with the beard, the skinny guy.
Okay.
He kept walking around the dark and knocking stuff over that time at the theater.
Okay, yeah, I do.
All right, so Jeff, he had a child today.
He's a dad.
Oh,
Today.
Right.
Friday the 13th.
Isn't that awesome?
It's beautiful.
So my question is, I've talked to other people who know Jeff. They see something special in him. I think he's a special man. But to have his firstborn born on Friday the 13th, this guy calls it saying, oh, it's Friday the 13th. It's going to happen because Jeff is sort of special. Mm-hmm. Is there any, can you sense that when you're next to him?
Yeah, now that I know who he is. Yeah. But we, again, everybody's special. We just have different special. But Friday the 13th is great. I was born on the 13th, but I was born on a Saturday. You were born on the 13th?
Friday.
Yeah. Ooh, see? And you're special?
No. But we can keep on going.
Like you said, different kinds of special.
Yeah, he's different kind of special.
I'm in little
he's a short
yellow bus special.
Yeah.
And Jeff is like...
Spaceship special.
Spaceship.
Like tour bus.
UFO
He'll drive that bus.
Yeah,
No,
UFO special.
and again, it's what we do with everything. And again, plus our perceptions of stuff. Everything has the power that it has. The number 13 has it, Friday 13. Now, if we were in Greece or Spain or the country of Georgia, their magical day or scary day or dark day is Tuesday the 13th.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. And we don't get all excited about Tuesday the 13th.
What month are you born in?
October.
What the hell? October?
October.
Saturday the 13th? Wait,
Saturday the 13th. I know. Had it been a Friday the 13th in October, yeah.
I'm June 13th.
June 13th. That's beautiful. So,
I have a bunch of weird questions
I
I'm
love
gonna ask
them.
you.
Yeah.
And please don't judge me.
Oh.
I'm just
Too late.
curious.
Oh, that was the first interview.
Answer one: enlarged prostate.
I was listening, guys.
Oh, dude.
I'm
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it was in stop motion. My prostate. Stick a finger up.
Cut it with an X-Acto knife.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So one of my questions by listening to the old interview is you said that hold on, purpose. We were talking about different realms.
Okay.
This realm, the next realm. You said there's endless amount of realms, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of the realm that we go into? The purpose of the people there when we lift the veil. What is their purpose?
Well, what is our purpose?
Right. That's the next question. What is our purpose?
Well, I don't know that it's purpose. They're just different places. Somebody lives in Oxnard, somebody lives in Ventura, somebody lives in Los Angeles. Our realm, this is our three-dimensional, we have gravity, earth, we are elemental realm of earth. We've created time, we have time and space. I don't know if we created it or it just exists here. In that next realm, the one we tap into, I'm sure there's a bunch I have not tapped into yet, but just going, one or two up, that's where the everything else. Again, we are getting into the ghosty realm where dead people hang out. We are getting into elemental realm where things that were never people. You can get into the angelic realm, the demonic realm, the extraterrestrial realm, if that is. I get not real elevate up. I've gone, the highest I've gone really does kind of get into that ET world, which is interesting, or I guess it's ET world. It's a world I've been to this council, which it's different. It's
So,
not
hold
my
on.
ghosty world.
You're sitting here, like let's just say that this is the spot that your mantle, and you are or altar. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you're going, and you're like, all right, let's move beyond this realm. Let's go on to the next one. And you've went to a different realm, and you're at a table.
Yeah.
And so, what is happening from here? Is it all here,
Not necessarily.
or is it all here?
Or it's everywhere. When I did a couple of things I did that I went beyond. One of my mentors or teachers, he was named Maximilien de Lafayette. He wrote 1 million ET books. And
What's the name again?
Maximilien de Lafayette. He wrote literally probably 100 books. He writes about the Anunnaki. I've never been big on the ET world because, again, even for me, who's as weird as they get, it was a little wacky. I picture the tinfoil hats and stuff, though I know that's not what it is. But again, I'm just like, okay, I'm weird enough with my world. But he's an expert. He speaks 21 languages, most of them ancient, like ancient Sumerian. Ancient Sumerian, I guess, is the same as Anunnaki. Whether you believe that whole, the Anunnaki come down, the Nephilim, which that. So he gave me words and symbols and sigils, a lot of sacred geometry, a lot of symbols, a lot of sigils. It's kind of like phonetically saying a different language. The first time I did it, I was actually in my backyard. I have kind of this big open backyard in Hollywood Hills. I was with an actress, a well-known actress, and we were doing this, reading this whatever thing. All of a sudden, it wasn't, Grandma Ghost coming or even Demon Fred coming or Elemental from me. It was this thing. I was like, huh? Hi. What? It was just like a different world. Like you were watching some other thing. And I'm like, that was a trip. But it was just her and myself. And she was open because she's an actress, so she's the spirituality. She had the creative side, but it didn't go far. So we decided to it again, and we had, I think it was 7 or 8 of us, all gifted mediums, all people who work in the spiritual realm. My friend Suki and Chinhee Park were there. I mean, pretty amazing people, all rated top in the world for whatever. We were around my dining room table. We had all these sigils and symbols from him, all this geographic stuff. We had these words. Or around, just like a regular seance table. All of a sudden, we would start doing, one person would start doing this weird body movement, but this and then somebody else was doing this body movement, and then somebody else was making this sound, and then somebody else kind of harmonized.
So you guys working together?
Yeah, but we were just channeling it. So we created some kind of a grid, some kind of an energetic electronic grid of some sort, and then one girl started channeling, like when you hear the people that do that ET stuff and they hello earthling people and the grids and love is all there is, it kind of came that kind of a thing that I've always made fun of, but it really became.
How big was the grid?
Well, the grid is across the whole planet, but
Okay.
he was talking about the grid.
That is fucking insane.
We were, I mean,
this
really
is connecting because I've seen this movie or this documentary. It's on YouTube. It's about like the real history of Earth, and they did speak about a grid that we have to get to a different consciousness by creating a grid around the Earth.
Yeah.
And usually it takes thousands of years, but they had to do it in 150 years, or us would be doomed forever. And those people are connected to the Anunnaki. They're connected to ancient Atlanteans.
Yeah.
And then also the ancient Hebrews, who, according to this documentary, came from Mars.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. So again, we're doing like almost choreography, matched together choreography, sounds, melodic sounds, harmonizing things. One person's channeling. I'm channeling. I'm doing these weird body I mean, I almost keep wanting to go into like Beetlejuice, boop, boop, but it wasn't that. And then this big thing, like laid, it's like armish thing across the whole table. It was, but it was wild, but it was very positive messages. And then not too long, it was wild. But yes, I used to know. Sadly, he's passed away. Jason Davis. He was an heir to the Davis fortune. If you look him up, but he had this knowledge about Grandpa built the Beverly Hilton, all this stuff. We would be high up in a hotel room. And he would show me the grids built in Century City and the stuff going from Beverly Hills to yeah, it's all out there.
What good do those grids do?
I guess they're energy grids.
You draw from it.
Oh, you know about this?
Of course I know about it.
Oh, I didn't
knows
know.
everything.
You don't ever remember me talking about this with the guys?
Yeah, I was ignoring you that time. I was kind of quiet. So I'm like, these guys will figure it out someday.
Yeah, if it's not him talking about punk or metal the same, he's not gonna listen to you.
Do you actually believe that there are people from other worlds?
Like aliens?
Yeah. people
So
from
I
other
have a
worlds.
question that
Because
goes with that. My question is, do you see anybody that's not human? Same?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That she doesn't. It seems to me with the way she was talking that she doesn't believe that there's other people.
No, I do.
She does.
I completely do.
And when you see what you see, can you? Is it just from here, or can you see from other places?
Again, one time I did this, like going up that I was at this council, and it was very like you're watching a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Totally like a sci-fi movie. But it wasn't. I wasn't. No, I do believe, and I think we are all kinds of hybrids. I think, Maximilian, I don't think he's very human at all. I think he's like 120 years old.
Is he still around?
I think so. He told me that when he died, and he's old. When he told me when he died that he wasn't going to tell anybody, that those who were supposed to know. But then I went all left brain. It's like, I'm supposed to know, I don't know. And then I screw it all up. But I think he is still alive, but he has heart issues. He was once working with the government, ETs. He's not even, I don't think he's American system, but he gets to go to Bethesda Medical Center because he was working like at Area 54. And he knows of people that like in Congress and Senate and aren't all human. I knew one guy, he could, and I mean, I guess yogis and stuff could do this, but I had a guy, I was living in an apartment in West Hollywood. He wouldn't come up for air in my pool for 20 minutes.
Whoa.
He would not come up for air. I'm like, he hasn't come up for air. And this was really trippy. He would pass gas. Everybody has gas. It would smell like roses. It's like, you're not human.
And the people that are running the country, which, there's been a bunch of, you can call them conspiracy theorists, you can call them, just free thinkers. Are all of them out for the goodness of our world?
I think there's both with everything, with everybody. I don't. That's why I don't want to go too far into the conspiracy theory, because I don't want to live in that world where everybody's out to get you, because you live in the world you live in. I don't want everybody out to get me and this is that. And, I'm sure there's parts that are true to things and parts that are not. I think as a rule, humanity, whatever percent human we are, is good. More than not. I do think. Like, look at the people in this room. We're all funky. We're all weird. But we're good. I think that's even true of weirdly of ghosts. What do you think, Stefan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone's weird. It's all weird, and I love it all.
Ah,
It's good stuff. I mean, imagine if this world was just boring and plain. It would suck.
Yeah.
yeah.
All this variety of personalities and spirits and energy just make it all worthwhile. It's a real world now.
Yeah, but see, I thought almost all spirits. Yeah, there was a few scary ones when I was a little kid. The guy, literally almost cliche, the guy under the bed and the guy in the closet. One was kind of, and I do think, wow, I had a bunch of weird little friends. Maybe they were extraterrestrials of some sort. But it's just like when it goes kind of dream state and you're a kid, and kids do because they have imagination. Again, so that's where they get to live in that world. But where was I going with that? I have no idea.
We're talking about the world.
The
and
world.
all the interesting
The world.
things.
No,
Yeah.
I think we're interesting. But I grew up to think ghosts were great. And then all of a sudden you live in Hollywood and you're doing television shows and they don't want to go talk to the great ghosts. That's when you have to
No.
go to the insane asylum
gotta
and
be
the
creepy.
prison and the Black Dahlia house and the Hotel Cecil because that's just better television, I guess. Talking to dead grandma. Or there's really fun ghosts in Hollywood. I mean, I'm sure there's dark ones too, but there's really fun ghosts at the Hollywood Roosevelt. There's really fun ghosts at the Hollywood Athletic Club. There's really fun ghosts at the American Legion. Yeah, somebody died and you focus on the guy who tumbled down the hill, but a lot of them they're just hanging from the chandeliers having a good time because they can.
Amazing. In the last interview, you said that we create our own afterlife. So I guess my question is, do we create everything in our afterlife? You had mentioned fairies, gnomes, things of that nature. And then my other thing is, do we create hell for ourselves? And what is hell?
I do. I study religion, I study philosophy, and my closest one to what is true for me, and everybody might have a different truth, is the ancient Sumerian. And they believed you go to the heaven you create, or that you believed in. Like if you believe in the pearly gates of question and God, that's where you're going to go. If you believe in some whatever, I don't believe at all in hell of the Christian heaven or hell. And I think, again, so much of the stuff that's fear-based and control-based was not written by the holy people that wrote it. It was by the men to control people. Because when you study into it, it's like, oh wait, they took reincarnation out of Christianity in the 15 or 1600. Oh, they took that away. Again, just like anything that's powerful, they make evil. I think anything that gives power to the people, they took it away so they can control you. Man basically is good, but also wants to control.
Do you think that when you die, what if you don't believe in anything? I mean, not anything, but you believe in a certain way, where you got here in another way. It has nothing to do with religion or pearly gates or anything like that. Do you? I mean, when you die, you're saying that when you die, if you believe in the pearly gates, you go to the pearly gates. What if you really don't believe in much of anything?
Well, my grandpa, again, he was this, practically evangelical atheist. He was very academic. He hung out with, like, Carl Sagan and Asimov and all these, famous, very academics who didn't believe. I talked to him once. He's like, oops. But he didn't go to the pearly gates. He became the consciousness. He was a thinker. He had the thinker by his grave. So I think, as a rule, if you want to create the pearly gates, you're going to create the pearly gates. As a rule, we kind of go into this great consciousness, like the Akashic records, like we're just energy. We're energy. And if there's not time and space on the other side, which in my experience there hasn't been, how cool is that? You could be a ghost and watching your grandkids grow up, and you could be fishing in Maine, and you could do part of the great consciousness. And if you have no body and no time and space and you're just energy, how cool is that?
And I heard a theory that when you die, your consciousness, everything that you know, goes up someplace and is stored there.
In the cloud.
And
Apple's a
It's
motherfucker.
kind of the same thing.
no, it's not the same thing.
It's the
It
Akashic
is,
records.
because you're putting it in this.
No, It goes out into space. It goes someplace where all your consciousness, everybody's consciousness is collected. And when somebody is born, they tap into some of that.
Yeah.
And they get some of that. And when they're born, they know that sort of thing. Not all of it, but some of it.
Yeah. That's the Akashic Records or the
Yeah.
Great Consciousness. And you could go change that.
The center of
You
all
could
knowledge.
tap into that. I even think reincarnation goes into that a little bit. Like, I know who I was in my last life. It took me a long, because again, it's like, yeah, coming from that 80s, like, yeah, everybody's Cleopatra, but no. But somebody told me who I was, like, yeah. I looked into her, it's like, wow, that's weird. We have the same life idiosyncrasy. She was born, she died at 30. I was born 30 years later. I didn't die at 30, but I really came into my power. Same idiosyncrasy. She didn't look like me, but she had my eyes. She wrote like me. So I'm like, and then all of a sudden the universe, whoever was throwing me a name I'd never heard of, I'm hearing her name, Barbara Lamar. She was a Hollywood actress, a silent film star. And I'm like, wow, this is weird. Okay, if I am her, I should know where my house is. If I had a house in the Hollywood Hills, I didn't have an address. I drove around. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of houses. I picked a house. All you could see was a tile roof because it's a downslope house. You didn't see a pretty house. I go, I know that house. But I didn't know how to know. There was a wrought iron thing on the gate and a number and a tile roof. All of a sudden, I'm in the grocery store. I hear somebody go, Barbara Lamar, and they're doing a movie about it. I'm like, what is this Barbara Lamar? A name I've never heard. He goes, yeah, I collect pictures of her. I married a woman that looks like her. Do you want to come see pictures? I went, yeah. And I went to his house to look at pictures, and there is that tile roof. There is that gate. There is that wrought iron. I'm like, I picked that house. I knew that house. So even at that time, again, decades ago, I left a little note in the mailbox. I didn't go, I am the reincarnation of Barbara Lamar. I just said, I'm a fan of the silent movie star. I live in Hollywood down the street and would love to see the house. Nobody called me, of course. 30 years later, last year or so, somebody told me the house was for sale. And I'm like, I got to get in there. So I called up the real estate agent and I go, I'm Patty. I live in the neighborhood. I go, I'm really not looking for a house, but I'm president of the Hollywood Dell Association, and people are always looking for our old 1920s houses. I would love to come look at it. She goes, okay, I'll have my assistant meet you there. She didn't show up. And so I called her up, and she goes, oh, well, I know who you are. Here's the lockbox. Go in yourself. So I didn't have to have a real estate. The second I walked in the door, you guys felt deja vu before? It was like living deja vu. I knew every aspect. I just got goosebumps. I knew every aspect of the house. I knew what had been changed. They modernized the kitchen. They opened up the staircase. I used to have a bookcase in front of it. I'd go upstairs and I used to sit out here. I honestly don't know if I was there 5 minutes or 5 hours, but I knew everything about it. So, okay, I am her. I'm Barbara Lamar. I'm going to go with that. Okay, I'm going to finally accept that. So I'm doing a seance around my dining room table, and then here comes Barbara Lamar. What the how? Our essence is of. I'm not a complete reincarnation of Barbara Lamar. I have some of her idiosyncrasies, some of her stuff from the Akashic Records, some of her lessons, good and bad. I have stuff. I'm parts of her. I think that's when kids are born and they can play Mozart at 2 years old. They've got parts of him. They're not Mozart. They got parts of it. They've tapped into that consciousness or that Akashic Records or whatever it is. I do believe we could go up there because I do a lot of both past life work and Akashic Records. I take them to a library way up there, and I have the librarians bring out their Akashic Records, and I'm looking with them in their head, and we open up the box. It's like a safe deposit box, and I have them look for stuff they don't want. I have them look stuff for like contracts, like I'm going to pick the wrong partner lifetime after lifetime. I look for things with figure 8s on them, and I have them throw them in a fire. I have them get rid of them. There's lots of ways to do this work. Because be careful whenever you guys say forever and ever. Honest. Even when you get married, there's a reason you don't say forever and ever. You say till death do us part. Because in the next life, you might want something different.
Do you think that some people like Einstein and what's his name Tesla, and what's his name he just recently,
It's okay, go.
not recently, but the guy that was in the wheelchair,
Hawking?
Stephen Hawking. Do you think they have more of a way of of tapping into that
Yeah.
realm of consciousness that than more than other people do because they know so much about
Yeah,
things.
that whether they tap into it or they're born into it or they had that information put in there or they're aliens.
Hybrids, man.
Hybrids, yeah.
Okay.
Our technology, I think our technology has jumped amazing in the last however many years.
This has been one of the best interviews I've felt like I've ever, like information wise.
Yeah, but you didn't ask if she believes there's a God. You know that one question you always
I don't
ask?
need to.
Okay.
I have my last question before we.
Do you believe there's a God?
Yeah. You think there's a God? What happens after we die?
What happens after? I think you want to
I
ask.
didn't
it?
ask that.
You
No,
didn't?
but that's
Okay.
he does that all the time.
Then I'm,
To a lot of people, yeah, he does.
You
that.
can answer it if you'd like.
I think we're
I
all
didn't ask.
God. I think
That's what I was. That's why I didn't ask it, because she was saying that we create our heaven, our
I do
afterlife.
believe
do.
in this beautiful, beautiful higher power of some sort, but I do believe it's in each of us. We are divine beings. We are whatever you want to call them, whether it's aliens or angels. We are these divine beings, but we're also human. We have free will. Divine beings don't have free will. Angels don't have free will. There's dextral and there's sinstral. Dextral is like an angel. Sinstral means shift and change. The word sin came from sinstral. And then the Judeo-Christian took it as sin meaning something bad. It just means shift. Angels can do two things. They're beautiful things. They can enlighten and they can protect. Two really good things, but they can't cause shift and change. We can. We're human.
Enlightenment. That's a good word.
We're hybrids of the highest kind.
Yeah.
And whether that is half angel, half God, half alien, who's to say?
And we create our own reality
Yeah.
at all times.
And my last question before we go on to our seance is, do you know the place Crooked Trees?
Crooked Path?
Crooked Path.
Yes.
Sorry.
Very well.
I know Sal.
Uh-huh.
And Sal was telling me about the things. I mean, his shop is amazing. There's things everywhere. Is it necessary, as a witch, to get the things that are in his shop to help with lifting the veil?
It is not necessary, but tools are nice. Sal is great. We are doing a huge thing in October, I think, if anybody wants to come. This whole amazing witchy weekend in this 1800s house. That's where we're going to be for the world's greatest ghost house. I'm going to be with Sal Santoro.
When's that?
You have to be doing the world's greatest ghost hunt. It's September 25th weekend. If you're not, I'll set you with Maria. It's international. It's worldwide.
Oh, the online thing.
Yeah, well, it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to think about that, but I don't know anything about it, so yeah.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be with Sal. He's going to do this conjuring, whatever. I'm going to do a seance. We're going to do everything. But no, you don't need the tools, but they're great to have. Like, if you just serve dinner for 50 people, you don't need a dishwasher, but it's great to have.
Mm-hmm. So when you have things like, I mean, I interviewed him. He showed me his entire shop. There's like bottles everywhere
Yeah.
of everything.
He makes most of my incense over there.
When is it easier for a person that's not in touch with their powers?
Yeah.
To do that and get on that path by going, to
Yeah.
Crooked Path and consuming some of what he has for sale.
Yeah, because it's like training wheels on your bike to help you learn. Really, you'll see stuff written over there, Sal's Incense. He knows me. He makes beautiful blends. He's got a great apothecary. Yeah, you don't need it, but it's great. We are our best tool. We are a tool. So the universe, gods, aliens gave us everything we really need, but it's nice to have tools. And then spirits love this technology. And the last one, like what Stefan has, because everything's electricity. They're electricity. We're electricity. In the olden days, it was like, the olden days you had a Ouija board and a candle, and then electricity. The lights flash in a haunted house. Now we have octopuses and REM pods and SLS cameras and
They're power tools, basically.
And power tools, yeah. In cell phones, they've learned how to use cell phones. Did I last time tell you my cell phone? I got a call from my husband's best friend who had been dead 5 years
How does that happen?
because they learned how to use them. It said call from David Coleman. I'm like,
Well, don't you remember last time we shot the viewership went up to like the subscription went up to like 8 million?
No, 19.1 million.
yeah.
It went up. It was just like it was, and we thought it was like a thing. It was just it was up 19 point some million subscribers.
That's crazy.
But you know what? Hang on real quick. On the subject of tools, like you've got people that are purists, right? Like you take a carpenter and you give them a hammer and a box of nails and they'll build you the most beautiful, intricate
What's that?
Stage.
But then you've got
sure.
somebody who comes along and they've got all their power tools and they've got, all their calculators and this, that, and the other. Like, does that technology take away from your pure ability, or does it add to it, do you think?
It could do either. What I like about it, again, I never had equipment, and I'm not technical. I could hardly use my damn cell phone. But what was cool about it for me when I started working on Ghost Adventures, they have the great equipment, is I for like decades now have been going, the ghost is going like this. The ghost is going like this. But either you believe me or you don't believe me. Now there's this SLS camera with a little green stick person that I'm in a different room. I don't see the camera. They don't see me. And the ghost is going like this. It's like, aha, you've got a great one at your theater of a ghost. The ghost is right there. We're reaching each other.
Yeah.
And it's got a little like red laser beam between us because I send out energy thing. It's like, so what's good is like, it's like confirmation. So Purist is great. When I'm doing seances around my dining room table, when we get to do that again, I don't have equipment because it's nice, and I like that old spiritualist Victorian thing, whatever. But equipment is fun.
Well, we are going as a group to go visit Sal on the 16th of October.
Yay!
And we are going to, I don't know specifically what we're doing, but he's also a witch, correct?
Yes.
And we're gonna do some witch stuff with him. So that's
Yay!
on 16th of October. And also that night we're gonna go upstairs to his. He also has a dungeon upstairs, if you're not aware of that. And we're gonna do some flogging and stuff on ice.
All right. He's the
Wait,
best.
hold on. When did we discuss this with me?
Huh?
You were on that. We had the group thing, and you said,
Why?
We all-
No, wait.
No, we all
you
talked
should
about
do
this.
it because you haven't done none of your cattle prods.
Okay, but I mean, that's neither here nor there.
but he's been flogged
Has he?
Yeah, yeah.
here in the studio.
Listen, what I do in my personal life, we don't need to talk about on the show, okay?
All right.
Pay-per-view.
This is Patti Negri.
Yes, it is.
And like, Patty, there's something about you being in my presence that brings something more to my life. And I'm so gracious to even this right here to be able to feed off your energy or heal from your energy.
Thank you.
I'm 100% appreciative. So where can people find you?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I know. We're like, just Google Patti Negri.
Bathroom walls across the front. No, Patti Negri. True.
I'm there.
Truck stops. No,
For a good
PattiNegri.com. PattiNegri.com. And then now, also my new home for my podcast is My Paranormal Network.
Hey.
MyParanormal.net. I'm not owned, but it is produced by the people who do Ghost Adventures. I decided to go with them. We're just launching. We're doing now with this 13 weeks of Halloween. So I'm really excited. We're just babies. We're just jumping in.
Your trajectory is to the moon, and I'm fearful that
I'm here. So
that
that's
the
good.
next time I'm going to see you is me waiting in line to get your autograph somewhere.
Yeah, right. No. Oh my God.
It's possible.
No.
You guys have an event? Can I get in? Oh, no.
No. I just.
Tim who?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a manifestor. You're a manifestor. We all do. But I just did book the Michigan Paracon, which is like the biggest Paracon, and I'm doing a mediumship gallery, and I've done 400 or 500 people because I do UC Santa Barbara, not too far from here, a few times, and they put me in a theater with 1,500 people.
There's a lot of energy because they all bring people with them. So
They all bring people.
1,500 is
It's a
3,000
party.
people. You're like, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. I from this speaker's agent. I'm with creepy people. It's creepy. It's a speaker's agent. I was like, I'm with creepy people. But yeah, so I'm really excited by that. And I'm scared to death, but I love to be scared to death.
I know, it's
Scared
the
to-
best.
in the good way. Yeah.
All right, well, we will be right back. This is No Cover Presents the Red Light District Show. This is Patti Negri. And we will be right back with a seance in studio after this.